Hello friends. Now you remember I told you a lot of things about Indo-European family of languages, and we also saw there were two divisions. First two divisions, one is Eastern and the other is Western. Eastern is also known as Southern group because in the Eastern language, Sanskrit, the word for 100 is Southern, and the first sound there, S. So that is the basis, or the pronunciation of that sound is the basis for calling that branch as the southern branch. And then we have got Kendum branch, that is Latin. The word for 100 is Kendum, and therefore you call it Kendum branch. We also saw another division, that is how the Indo-European K, the guttural sound, became in the Eastern S, that is alveolar fricative sound, and in Western it is K, that is velar plosive sound. Isn't it? Yes. Plain K. The other is, the Indo-European is K, milk. These things I already told you. We are reconstructing these things, so please do understand. And also different books sometimes may give you different examples and different pronunciations, but don't worry, this is, the basis is this. The word for 100 in the Eastern branch, one of the Eastern branches, the representative we take as Sanskrit, there it is Sadam. The word for 100 in Western branch, representative of the Western branch, we take Latin, there it is Kendum. Simply put, that is the reason. Okay. Depends on the word for 100 and how it is pronounced in the East and in the West. I think I have already done this in the 4th lecture. Now this is the 5th one. We will see today what are the members, the names of languages in the Eastern branch. Okay. Now first we have got, as you know, Sanskrit. We have already seen. Indian language, Indo-Iranian. You remember that is the first one. Indo-Iranian, and Iranian, Indian languages, mainly we have got Sanskrit is the first one, Sanskrit. And in Sanskrit you have Vedic Sanskrit, Vedic. In Sanskrit used for religious purposes. We have two books, two holy books. One is the Rig Veda, that consists of about 1,000 hymns praising God and praising nature and so on. Rig Veda, Vedic Sanskrit. Sanskrit first is Vedic Sanskrit, where you have got books Rig Veda and Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda is about incantations and magical formulas, about rituals. Very ancient books, very ancient. In fact, Sanskrit is we can say you remember I told you that William Jones said that Sanskrit is the language of the gods. Yes. So, at the time when English was being introduced in the Indian educational system, a man from the West said, declared that Sanskrit is the language of the gods. So that should be taught in schools and colleges, and that should be, we should nourish that language. But it so happened that today it is not a spoken language. It's not spoken in I don't think it is spoken anywhere. Then for some time, then All India Radio and also the Doordarshan telecast news in Sanskrit. These days, I don't know, I am not watching that. Sometimes maybe they may be continuing that. I do not know. That's so I mean, I am not familiar with that. Okay, so then we have got Sanskrit, Vedic Sanskrit, Rig Veda and Atharva Veda. And then you have got this classical Sanskrit, Vedic Sanskrit, classical Sanskrit. Classical Sanskrit, actually, Sanskrit, it is fixed as a literary language by Panini, the great grammarian, in the 4th century BC. Understand that? 4th century Panini. You know, these names are famous, known to you know. Panini, in the 4th century BC. He fixed it as a, standardized it as a classical language. And he wrote a grammar of that book, also that language. And also you can see the 2 epics, our great epics, that is the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, you can see written in Sanskrit. Listen. So you have Vedic Sanskrit, then you have classical Sanskrit. And then you have got number of dialects. These dialects together you give a name called Prakrit. Prakrit. Prakrit is a dialects of Sanskrit. Dialect means spoken varieties. Local varieties you will find. In some places you will find Sanskrit is spoken one way, then another way, like that. So from this you have got today languages Hindi. Hindi you have got, then Bengali. Bengali has descended from Prakrit, and Prakrit is a variety of Sanskrit, you should understand that, dialect. Bengali, then Marathi, and Bengali, Marathi, and Punjabi, yes. Punjabi language. See that? So this Sanskrit, this branch, you know, it's not, this is why we call it Indo-European. See, most of the areas in India, Asia, that are in Europe. And then Prakrit. You have got another dialect called Pali dialect. I don't know whether you are familiar with this. This is the language of the Buddhists. Buddhism. Buddhists use this, Pali. And then you have got a gypsy language called Romani. This is Buddhism. They made use of this. And the language used by Buddhists, that is Pali. And then Romani. Romani is gypsy language. People who wander from one place to another. So you have got a picture of the first branch of first half. You can see Indo-Iranian. We have just considered only Indian. Understand? So you have got in the Indian variety, you have got, or the Indian branch, you have got Sanskrit. Sanskrit has got Vedic Sanskrit, Rigveda, Atharvaveda, and then you have classical Sanskrit. There you should remember Panini for the grammar and fixing it as a classical language, and then Mahabharata and Ramayana. You have got Prakrit's number of dialects. From there you have got Punjabi, Marathi, then you have Hindi. There is another one, that is Hindustani. You know, Hindustani is a mixture of Persian and Persian and Arabic. Arabic. Also, some aspects of Sanskrit might have come in. But as in Indian languages, when we consider, we can say Hindustani. Hindustani, that is what I have already told you, Persian and Arabic. Persian and Arabic mixture. Arabic mix. We have got a Hindustani. Hum Hindustani, you sing like that. So yes, that is. Understand that? Yeah. So there you are. This is a picture of Indian branch of the Indo-European. So you have got a simple to remember: Vedic, then classical. You have got Prakrit, Pali, Romani, and India. We also speak Indian. That is Hindustani. That is Hindustani music. You know. That is you know about that. Yeah. So that is all about that. I hope it is getting clear to you. Here the point is, there is nothing to explain, because if I say Sanskrit, we are not supposed to explain what Sanskrit is and so on. That will be something very stupid. Right? So you have some memory and you have to keep these things in your mind. And when you come to Iranian, that same branch, Iranian, you have what Avestan, Old Persian and Middle Iranian. You have got 3 branches there. One is Avestan branch, Avestan, Then you have got to, second is here the Old Persian. Old Persian, and you have a third group under this division, under this is Middle Iranian. Middle Iranian. Here the question is of memory, Middle Iranian. And Avestan is the language of Avesta. Avesta, language of Avesta. That is the holy book of the Zoroastrians. Zoroastrian, that's a religion. Zoroastrians. Like Bible, or Zoroastrian. And then you have got, that is Avestan. You have got Old Persian. Old Persian, so this is religious. That case, Vedic Sanskrit, you have religious. For religious purposes, you are using Sanskrit. Vedic Sanskrit. Here, for religious purposes, you are using Iranian, then it is Avestan. Then you have got secular purposes. For example, the conquests and achievements of emperors like Darius and that is success. That is the name of one of their emperors, Persian emperors. So you find the records of their achievements and their conquests in this. Darius and Xerxes. Understand? That is secular use of it. And then you have Middle Iranian, or what you call Pahlavi. Middle Iranian, or you have got the it's also known as Pahlavi. Pahlavi language. Or Middle Iranian, or it is known as Pahlavi language. And Middle Iranian mainly used in official language of the church and the state. Church records are written in Pahlavi, or it is the language used by church, and also it is the the ancestor of modern Persian. Actually, this is Middle Iranian is the ancestor of modern Persian. Understand? So that's about Indo-Iranian. So if you summarize the whole thing, you will find it like this. Indo-Iranian is one of the. Suppose you get a short note like this. Write a note on Indo-Iranian. You can write like this. One of the branches of the Eastern group. You have got Indo-Iranian. That's a comparatively large area, spoken in large area. Indo-Iranian. You have got languages like Vedic Sanskrit. SKT means Sanskrit. Then you have classical Sanskrit. You have Prakrit. You have got Pali or Romani. And from, to connect it, Romani. And Iranian branch you have got, you can say Iranian part of this, you have got Avestan, language of Avesta. Then you have got Old Persian, Middle Iranian, Old Persian and Middle Iranian. And it is very interesting that Avestan is for religious purpose. Here Vedic Sanskrit is for religious purpose. Old Persian is for secular purpose. And classical is for secular purpose. And so on. Then Middle Iranian, you have got a church and church, that is provinces. And then many other, dialects in the Old Persian Empire, which is part of Old Persian Empire. You have got Afghan, Beluji, Afghan in Afghanistan, Beluji in Balochistan, and then Kurdish. So these are also dialects of Middle Iranian. So Middle Iranian is the ancestor of modern modern, you have got Persian, and then you have got many dialects like this. So this is how you can summarize the Indo-Iranian branch. Indo-Iranian is a vast branch, yes. Okay, exactly. You can remember, I hope. Yeah, here the problem is of memory, memorizing these things. If you want to write things. But you can connect it like this, Mahabharata, Ramayana. Then you have got Rig Veda, Atharva Veda. You have got the the Prakrit of say North Indian languages comes from that. And you have got Buddhism, Pali, Romani, Gypsy languages. So you can. The other is very simple now, that is Avestan, Old Persian, Middle Iranian. Middle Iranian is the ancestor of the modern Persian, and dialects of this Middle Iranian you will find Afghanistan, Balochistan, and Kurdistan. Kurdish language. Yes. So that is the first branch. Then the second branch is Armenian. Second branch of the Eastern. Now we are considering Eastern as well. Armenian. Armenian, in fact, but you can see it is not as vast as this. It's not. Somewhat isolated position it has got. Somewhat isolated position. The Phrygians of Homer. The Phrygians, or you can say the Trojans of Homer, they spoke this. Trojans, Iliad. Trojans of Homer, you find, Trojans. So they spoke some dialects of this language, Phrygian language. Homer shows something of that. Understand? Then you also find that in 5th century, that is the most important thing. 5th century AD, the Bible was translated into Armenian language. Armenian patriarchs and so on, you have heard of this. You must have read in newspapers and so on. Armenian. So the church was very prominent. Church and church activities. So Bible was translated in the 5th century AD. This is the main point to remember about Armenian. And as I already told you, it is an isolated position. Understand? So that's not good. And Homer's, the Trojans of Homer, they might have, the Phrygians, they might have spoken this. We don't have much idea about that. So that is Armenian. So you have got Indo-Iranian, then you have got Armenian. And the third branch is Albanian. Albanian. Again, this is another isolated branch, you can say, spoken. And the Armenian, problem, not a problem, a challenge is that it is a mixture of. So you have got Latin, Greek, all the language, Turkish, and then Slavic languages. You have got a mixture of this. It's like a cocktail of a language. It is spoken in the eastern coast of the Adriatics, not Adriatics, Adriatic, eastern coast of Adriatic. Understand? So it's a small place it is spoken. It's not very famous, we can say. Not Albanian language that is spoken by a very small group of people. But since it is a mixture of Latin, Greek, then you have got other languages, Slavic and Turkish and so on, you will find these elements everywhere. Understand this? So you can reconstruct this language easily. And the fourth one is, you have got Balto-Slavic languages. Russian, yes. Powerful nation, yes, like it. Balto-Slavic. In the Yugoslav area and so on, in Poland and so on. So Balto-Slavic, of course, is you have got it's a somewhat the bigger group, you can say, like Indo-Iranian. So you have got what is called you have got Baltic and Slavic. That is one subgroup is Baltic, and then other is Slavic group. Understand? In Baltic group you have a Prussian, Lithuanian, Prussian language, Prussian, Lettic. This is the language of Latvia. If you look at the map, you will see a very small country. And Lithuania is the language of Lithuania. Baltic. Then Slavic you have You have got East, West and South. Three. East, West and South Slavic. South Slavic. Yeah, three branches like this. And East is the most important because in East you have got Great Russian, White Russian, and Little Russian. This is the subdivision. Little Russian. Little Russian is Ukrainian, and White Russian is this Western Russian. West. White is Western Russian, and Great Russian is Russian, or Russian, or language of Russia. That is. So Great Russian is that. Then you have got Slavic, you have Bulgarian and Serbo-Croatian, Bulgarian, Serbo-Croatian names, and Slavic. Slavic means Slovenian language. Slovenian. Now is spoken in the Yugoslav area. Understand? So thus you have got the picture of Bartoslav. Now what we should do is that we should have a summary of the whole thing. Then so that I think that you will be able to remember this. See, or we should remember now, because when you are students and teachers, we should have some idea about this. When you say Indo-European, the whole picture should come before. Understand? So first you have got the Indo-European, i.e. you have got two branches, and here you have got the Eastern. Okay? Here you have got Western, and Western is Kendum. Kendum means the word meaning 100. Here it is Southern. Southern is 100. Now here in this you have got 4 branches. We have not touched here. You have got Indo-Iranian. Isn't it? Then you have got Albanian, Armenian, and Balto-Slavic. Well, this division I am indebted to Albert Seabow. Some other books you may find slight variations, and so on I said. The authority for this division is Albert Seabow. Already requested you to buy a text if it is available, otherwise you can go through that in your library. So in Indo-Iranian you have to Indo-Vedic Sanskrit. Vedic Sanskrit is there. Then you have got the classical, isn't it? Classical or secular. Then you have got Prakrit, the dialects, Prakrit, and Pali, the language of Buddhism, and Romani. Romani is the language of the Gypsies. Iranian branch you have got Avestan, then old Persian and Middle Iranian. See that Avestan, Old Persian and Middle Iranian. From Middle Iranian you have got Afghan, Beluji, and you have also got Afghan, Beluji, and you have got Kurdish. Albanian, you don't worry much about that because it's Armenian also. And important thing is that church languages. Then Barto-Slavic, you don't have divisions like that. You don't have West Albanian, East Albanian, nothing else. And here also. Barto-Slavic, of course, you have got 2 divisions here. You have got Baltic, and Baltic you have got some divisions like here. You have got Prussian, Latvic, and Lithuanian. You have got Latvic, Prussian, Latvic, Lithuania, already I told you. And then you have got here, you have got east, west, west and south. Southern. And east you have got that is divisions like great, white and little. Great, white, little. Great is Russia, isn't it? Yes, great is Russia. And then you have got western. The western branch, this I forgot to tell you about that when I was telling. You have language of Poland, Polish, the western branch, Polish. And the southern branch you have got, you have southern branch is like I was told Bulgarian, Serbo-Croatian and Slovenian. Southern, there is no space here, so I am writing it here. Southern of Baltic, Slavic. Isn't it? Baltic and this is Slavic. And you have southern, you have three languages: Bulgarian, Serbo-Croatian and Slovenian. Bulgarian, the board is a small board, but still I can understand. Bulgarian, Serbo-Croatian, and Bulgarian, Serbo-Croatian and Slovenian. So this is the picture of or the eastern. Or you can see one thing. Maybe if it is confusing to you, you will take only the eastern branch. So then there will be space for you. Once again, if you write, you will learn it much better. You can remember it also. So remember, Indo-European has two branches. Broadly speaking, you have two. Then you have got subgroups. Of this, you have got Eastern, let us say. Indo-European, you have got Eastern. Okay. And then you have got Southern. Okay. And now it is easy. Now there is plenty of space for us. We have 4, 1, 2. Okay. Indo-Iranian, I think, is for you it's easy now. Albanian, you can remember this now. This is difficulty, and Armenian no difficulty, right? Yes. And Balto-Slavic. That's it. Now these two, they don't have members. Here you have seen already. There's no point in you can write it by yourself. You have got Vedic Sanskrit, classical Sanskrit. Then Prakriti, you have got Pali, you have got, and from Prakriti you have got Bengali, Marathi, and Punjabi, and also Hindi, and then you have got Romani, the Gypsy language, and thus speak about Indian. Iranian, we have already seen Avestan, Old Persian, and Middle Iranian. Avesta, the language Avesta, and Old Persian is Xerxes and Darius, their achievements, and Middle Iranian already we have seen. That is from there you have got Pahlavi. Middle Iranian or Pahlavi, you have got Afghan, Kurdish dialects and so on. And also you have seen church and state language. Armenian is nothing to worry about. Then Balto-Slavic, of course, the major group here is Russian. We have seen Russian, Slavic language, East, West and South, and etc. we have seen, Baltic also we have seen. And that we come to the end of the discussion on these branches, that is Eastern branch. And tomorrow or the next class we will take up the Western branch. Okay. Western branch is Kingdom branch of, we have got Celtic, Italic, Hellenic and Germanic. Of these the most important, Germanic. And then we will see that tomorrow. Okay? So till we see again, bye, have a nice time. Take this, see. Do you find it difficult? Or do you find that it's difficult to remember this thing? If it is very difficult, then at least the major branches you remember. If you cannot, I don't think it is that tough. So okay, fine. See you again. Have a nice time.